Yo, are you spitting bars? What did I just walk into? What? Why is the chat disabled for this, huh? That don't make no sense. The hell? Hi, Mom. What's up? Welcome, man. How's everybody doing, man? Happy Thursday. Mama praying that I leave the streets alone. Preacher praying that I leave the reef alone. I'm just getting money, leave the beef alone. But I'm out here thugging in my TV loan. Throw up my set, they get upset, they coming at me indirect. They sending threats, I'm busting out live in effect, no internet. I start to cruising like Tourette's or like Shaq West. I love it. That's funny, man. That's funny. Alright, man. Let's get this show started, man. You're in a vibe. I miss you too, Mom. Say hi to Elijah, Mom. Okay. It's a good vibe today. I like it. Alright, I'm gonna get the show started. Alright. Hey, man, welcome to another episode of the Jayson Estrera Show, where we talk about basketball, sports, and any topic that comes our way as accurate as possible. Now, today, we talk about the next chapter in the Shaq versus Rudy Gobert beef, because apparently they will just fight forever. So there is no stop to that. And Steven Jackson recently had some comments about hoopers versus scorers, which I think was directed at Gilbert Arenas. So we're going to be talking about his definition for that. We'll also be talking about Caitlin Clark's historic night. She added another triple-double to her rookie season. But does winning hide some of the problems that these players or these teams might have? So, right, we'll get right into it today, man. So, if you haven't heard, this guy Shaq is comedy. If you haven't heard, man, Shaq was recently doing a video with Complex, and they were talking about this.
And don't get paid shit.
I think in true LA fashion.
Oh, here, let's talk about it.
Okay.
All right, let's see.
Wote NBA player.
Worst of all time is what they mean by Wote, by the way. Worst of all time NBA player instead of GOAT, which is greatest of all time.
Rudy Gobert.
Oh my God, I knew he was going to say Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
He's worse than Ben Simmons?
Ben Simmons is another bum. No, because you know why?
Tell us why, Shaq. Please tell us why. Please tell us why. Please tell us why.
Sign a contract for $250. Show me $250. It's the reason why I walk funny and why I can't turn my neck and why I can't do it, because I played for my 120. So you got guys like him that fuck the system over. They're making all this money and they can't fucking play. So I don't respect guys like that. Like you know, every time I make these comments, people think I'm hating, but these are facts.
People think I'm hating, but these is facts. Yo, Shaq is so hilarious, man. And I think let me see, where's this Goran Dragic? No way, brother. As a player or as just a person? And then Rudy Gobert responded to him. Let's see. Where the fuck is this response? Oh, it's on X. Oh, bet. Person, yeah, he was a good player. He just not a great. I mean, I don't really know anything about him as a person, but so here is Rudy Gobert's response, bro. This is comedy. It's sad to see someone that has accomplished as much as you did, Shaq, and he added him. Both in sports and business, still be triggered by another man's finances and accomplishments. I get the entertainment part, but unlike other folks, you don't need that stuff to stay relevant. Now, first of all, because I just seen it, rest in peace to Rich Homie Quan, man. Wow, rest in peace to Rich Homie Quan. I was listening to Lifestyle earlier when I read that happened. So rest in peace to him, man. That's really sad. I don't want to forget that. I don't want to forget that. I wanted to make sure that we got that in there. So rest in peace to him. We started being mean to the Raptors unprovoked. He started being unprovoked. That's why. Oh, Goran Dragic did. Yeah, man. You rest in peace to him. Yeah. I don't know what exactly happened, but I saw all the headlines from everywhere earlier. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But give him his silence. So but again, to this little beef that Shaq and Rudy Gobert have going on, I hate that I have to go back to this part, but first and foremost, you have to know, right? This is the part about Shaq that Shaq has done this for forever. Shaq, for how many years was he shitting on Dwight Howard? He's been shitting on Ben Simmons. He always just picks people to just go at. He just always does it. Anthony Davis, I feel like sometimes he was going at. He's always poked at other big men, right? And I think Shaq is so funny, and he could say the truth, but he also jokes so much that sometimes people struggle with understanding what it is that he's trying to say sometimes, right? Not people, big men who play too good, who play good. Yeah, he's always had some wild comments, even with like champions and stuff. Now he starts moving the goalpost, but he's always just been a troll, right? That's always been his personality. He always pokes at people. So, on one side, I'm like, man, you could just not respond to him, Rudy. You could just leave him alone. It's just Shaq being Shaq, doing Shaq type of things, right? And on the other side, I do like the fact that he defends himself, right? Regardless of whether you think he's overrated or all of his awards are deserved or he earned them, whatever you feel about them, we'll get to that in just 1 second, right? I do like the fact that he stands up for himself, because the reality is nobody will, right? Nobody will. And at the end of the day, the money conversation is not his fault, right? It's not his fault. It's the same thing with sneakers, right? A lot of everyone gets mad at the resellers, right? He was definitely trolling that time. Rudy should have let it go or says something when he plays the Lakers. Yeah, that's one way to handle it. And shit, I just literally blanked on what I was gonna say. Fuck, what the fuck was I just talking about? I mean, it definitely was. I think he was trolling, and there was a little bit of truth to it, right? Because the reality is this when it comes to Rudy Gobert. It's not his fault that they gave him the award, even if he didn't deserve it, right? Ultimately, that's not his fault. The contract that he's got, ultimately, that's not his fault. Oh, I was talking about resellers. Everyone gets mad at the resellers, right? They're, bro, you just, thank you, Elijah. No one ever gets mad at the person buying the shoe. You're like, motherfucker, why the fuck did you just spend that much? You could have just not bought it. All of the people that bought it, you could have just not bought it, and they would have been forced to start bringing the price down, right? In this scenario, the sellers are the teams, right? You can't blame Rudy for, or sorry, the Rudy would be the resellers. You can't blame Rudy that they offered him the contract. What's he supposed to do? Say no? What's he supposed to do? Say no to 250? Even if he felt like he didn't deserve it, why the hell would he say no? Nobody would say no. A guaranteed contract. So that conversation is that part is funny to me because, like I said, he doesn't control that aspect, right? The way that you open up different options when you hit certain thresholds or get certain awards, it opens up the salary cap. That's how they make the money that they make. And on top of that, the different TV deals that have come into play the last decade or so. So it's not necessarily his fault, right? But the thing about it is, when you get 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards, now we're forced to critique and put you up against the field. Rudy deserved it. If he shot as well as he defended, nobody would bat an eye. Paul George, we should have waited him out. I mean, whether he deserved it or not, right? He has the awards. And the thing is, now we get to compare you to the field, right? We're talking about what? Like a Hakeem Olajuwon, like a Ben Wallace. How many times did Tim Duncan win the Defensive Player of the Year? Did he ever win it? 3-time. No, he never. Oh, all defense. No, he never won Defensive Player of the Year. You're talking about Dennis Rodman, right? These are the kind of people that you're forced to compare him to, right? If Rudy won 1 or maybe 2 awards, I think it would be totally different, right? Because now he gets compared to these guys. And, you know, NBA guys, basketball guys, the way we talk is just sometimes, oh, this motherfucker trash, that guy trash, this person this, that person that. Not really meaning that they're trash, right? Compared to this person, I think you actually suck. But it's because you're in this category, right? So I think that's the actual issue, right? The money thing is whatever, because ultimately, like I said, that's what's he supposed to do? Not take the money. It's the fact that he has the awards, and now we compare you to these other guys, right? Who else has? Who else has? Dikembe Mutombo, Ben Wallace. Dwight Howard has 3. And he did it 3 consecutive years. Like, we're talking about, like, Dwight won it 3 times. I mean, Dwight won 3 times. Think about that. Dwight Howard won 3 times. That like you can't help but start thinking about these things, right? That's the unfortunate thing, and that's when you start looking at them. And for me, the scoring is one thing, Elijah, but I do think that now you start putting him down the ladder a little. Like, is he better than a Dwight Howard? Like, I don't really think so. Is he better than a Ben Wallace? I don't really think so. Is he better than a Dennis Rodman? I don't really think so. And then you just start Dikembe Mutombo even. And then you just start going down the line. Right? And it doesn't help his favor. It doesn't help his case that he was getting cooked by freaking Jokic in damn near every one-on-one situation. Right? Like, Jokic was hunting him. And I guess this brings me to this part, right? Which is, not this. We're not going to talk. That's not even important. Which is the truth about defense, right? Excuse me. The thing about Rudy Gobert in this scenario is Rudy's not a great one-on-one defender. His physique, his athleticism is a little bit deceiving because you look at it like, oh, if he gets to the top of the key, or if he gets a switch at the perimeter, he'll be able to not only hold his own, but be able to stop guys, especially another big. I feel like to guys win because they fit the mold or have a good story. OG is never in Defensive Player of the Year. TJ McConnell didn't even get a look. 21 seasons. He had an amazing year and 11 steal game. Yeah. That's facts. That's facts too, right? And the way that to add on to that, Elijah, we already have our candidate before the year starts and don't give it fair shots. Facts. Like, to your point, Wemby probably clears this award this year. Because the narrative started at probably halfway towards the end of last season, right? So it's without them dribbling a basketball in the regular season, it's already Wemby's award to lose, right? Let's just call it what it is. I do think too that the award gives some people the illusion that, oh, Rudy Gobert is a great all-around defender. He could do everything. And that's not the reality. See, I think the beef that a lot of NBA guys have, right? Because if you ask them, do you think Rudy Gobert is a great shot blocker? No one would deny you. If he's a great help defender, no one would deny it, right? It's the fact that, and you would know this, and you know, guys that played a little bit of basketball would know this, right? When a team hunts for you on defense, that's not a good sign. So the fact that the strategy is put Rudy Gobert in a pick and roll because our guards can take advantage of him however they want to is not a good thing. It's not a good sign. That's why a lot of NBA guys have an issue with this and have started to talk about it, right? Because to the media, to these writers, to an NBA fan, some of them will see stats like blocks per game, steals per game, and think that those numbers mean that this player is a great defender. And that's just not the case, right? Let me see. Prime example. In 2015-16, and I'll put it here in case if you guys don't believe me, right? In 2015-16, where is it? Steph Curry was the steals champion. But you've never heard him get talked about as a great defender. In fact, you hear him being talked about as a horrible defender for most of his career. I've had to argue the opposite, that I actually think that he's been a very solid defender for most of his career. That's fair, but Kawhi has been haunted, and they take advantage of him on defense, but he takes advantage on offensive glass. I think it's a fair trade-off. Rudy has got some handed, I feel, but I'm also not mad. Facts. No, that's facts. That's facts. Like I said, though, Rudy's case is unique because he has 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards and the $250 million contract. And to a lot of folks, it don't match, right? That's like if you guys remember when we were talking about the highest paid salaries in the NBA this upcoming season, and Bradley Beal is in the top 5. And no disrespect to Bradley Beal. He's a very good NBA player. But top 5 is crazy. Like if he was, I bet you if he was like 11, 12, 13, nobody would bat an eye. But it was the fact that he was 5th. It makes you like, wait, what the fuck? Wait a second. I say it all the time. I went back and watched 2015 playoffs, and Steph was good back then and now. I would say he's a very good team defender. Trae Young isn't as bad as people say either. Yeah, and there's the other part too, right? The thing about defense that a lot of people don't understand, and if you don't watch a lot of games, you wouldn't understand this, right? Some of it is the strategy. If you try on defense, we can work with you. It's when you don't have games like a Luka game 3. Facts. Like for example, right? Like I'll give this example. If you play with a great paint defender like a Dwight Howard, for example, right, in his time, who was so dominant on defense, I'm not saying that his guards and his wing players were all defensive players. I'm not saying that at all, right? But when the game plan is, let's funnel these guys to Dwight, we're going to force them in this direction, almost letting them go, right? To the casual fan watching the game, you're like, oh, this guy's getting blown by every time, not realizing that that's the game plan. Right? Like someone that gets a lot of steals, for example. The number looks great. But if you don't watch the game, you don't realize that if it's a player like Allen Iverson or even like a Steph Curry very early on in his career, they go for a lot of steals that they shouldn't. That's why they get a bunch of them, but you miss a lot of the times where they miss and they actually put their defense at a disadvantage. Right? Because it's not like they're 100% on every single time they go for a steal. They miss on a lot more than they get. Even a shot blocker. Being a good shot blocker doesn't necessarily mean that you're a great defender. Like I said, they could be funneling guys to you. So all of these things are taken into account. The reality is, when it comes to defense, we don't really give credit to the real one-on-one defenders. You know why? Because the real one-on-one defenders that lock people up, I'm going to note Steph Curry steals for later. Like, the reality about great defenders is offenses play away from them. That's just what it is, right? Drew gets all of these steals. What do teams do? They will literally let someone else play point guard. What do you think that does to someone like Drew Holiday's stats, who's a phenomenal, if not the best defender in the league? Numbers aren't going to look amazing. Why? Because he's an amazing defender. Like, let's look at, I was looking at some of these highlights earlier, right?
Clipper lead, 14 offensive rebounds.
And the defense has picked up. Oh, Gobert, the denial.
Among the things that he said he did.
Like he actually made a mistake in this scenario. He recovered very well. They're the cornerbacks that don't get thrown to. Yeah, no, that's facts. That's 100% fact.
Lead, 14 offensive rebounds.
Right? Like, see, in this situation, he turned. It was great recovery on his part, right?
Picked up. Oh, Gobert.
But, you know,
Among the things that he said he'd like to see.
for the most part, Rudy is not locking people down on defense. I'm going to just be honest with you. Even
understanding of how the groups are formed is
Gobert, open court steal, and the throwdown. Gobert doing it all.
And like I said, it's not that he's a bad defender. That's not the case at all. He's a very good defender. Is he 4-time defensive player of the year good? I don't know. But you know, that's just the reality of what defense really is. And also, let's just call it what it is now too, right? The way that offense is ran nowadays makes it hard to play defense. Right? Cuz before, when 8 to 10 guys on the floor are playing below the 3-point line, help comes from every direction. Right? So a player that's posting up on the high block, they only have so many moves because the help can come. So that makes it easier for the defender, because you could try to predict the moves that they can make. As opposed to now, where you have point guards stretching the offense out to damn near the half court. You have 5 guys playing around the perimeter. As the defender, think about it. How high up can you really play? Because everyone can dribble and everybody got a little package. Pause. What the fuck was that? It makes it hard. And then on top of that, you have to know, for the most part, there isn't anyone behind you to really help because of the way that they play offense. They play 5 out. So that's just the reality of what things are nowadays. And, you know, Rudy getting cooked, you know, like we saw David Robinson getting cooked by Hakeem. And everybody thought that David Robinson was also a really, really good defender in this league. So it is what it is, right? Like, it happens. Like I said, I think some people have this illusion that because you get that award, that means that you're all of a sudden stopping everyone and everything all the time, and that's just not the reality. All right, let's get to some more banter going on from these old heads, man. Let's go.
From Stack Locker, say free game. It's too many scorers talking right now. They're not hoopers. There's a difference between scorers and hoopers, right? You got people that can score points, and like you give them the credit. Scoring points in the NBA is a hard job. A lot of us average 20 a year, right? I average 20 a couple of years. But scorers are not hoopers to us. Hoopers play on both ends. Hoopers compete, they play defense, they score, and they go down there to stop their man, and they win, right? Everybody in hoopers. It's a lot of players that came through the NBA that can score points.
Yes, they gave him hell for that Luka play. I'm like, y'all do know how bad Luka is. That's facts. No, that's facts, bro. That's facts.
Didn't have long careers. It's just the truth.
Like, everybody was talking about Luka being a great defender. Meanwhile, they were looking for him in one-on-one scenarios every single time. Like, they not doing that to no fucking Drew Holiday or Jaylen Brown. Like, that's just not happening. He just not hunting those matchups. But guess who Luka was looking for? Rudy Gobert and shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so Steven Jackson talking about scorers and hoopers. And I'll be honest with you, when I heard this for the first time, I was genuinely confused on the definition of hoopers versus scorers, because for most of my life, who have they considered hoopers? He's fucking working on some shit downstairs. Where he scored on Rudy for game. Yeah. Yeah, like Luka. Oh yeah, like Luka's a bad dude, bro. He's doing this thing right now. I'm gonna play music in the background just so it's like drowned it out a little bit. You feel me? All right. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Yeah. So let's get back to the Steven Jackson topic. I was confused, right? Because for most of my life, right, Steven, when people talk about hoopers, they talk about like a Kobe, they talk about a Kyrie, a Kevin Durant, LeBron. For me, it was. I always took it as guys that live, breathe, and eat basketball. Right? It didn't mean how good you were necessarily. It didn't mean. It was typically talking about very skilled guys at that too, because it was a SJ moving goalpost. Like it was always like, you know, guys that work on their craft. You know, it didn't necessarily mean you were the best. Like, you know, Jamal Crawford, people always say, were hoopers. And then all of a sudden he says hoopers versus scorers. I was very confused. Right? You know, let's go back to his little definition here, man. Let's go back to his little definition.
It's too many scorers talking right now. They're not hoopers. There's a difference between scorers and hoopers, right? You got people that can score points, and like you give them the credit. Scoring points in the NBA is a hard job. A lot of us average 20 a year, right? I average 20 a couple of years. But scorers are not hoopers to us. Hoopers play on both ends. Hoopers compete, they play defense, they score, and they go down there to stop their man, and they win, right?
They compete, they play defense, they stop their man, and they win. Okay.
Everybody in hoopers. It's a lot of players that came through the NBA that could score points that didn't have long careers. It's just the truth.
So by his metrics, he's not talking about just 20 point per game hoopers. Not just 20 point per game scorers. He goes, that don't really mean nothing. But you gotta play defense. You gotta win. He just started throwing a whole bunch of shit out there. When I always thought hoopers didn't really mean it really didn't mean all that much to, like, people used to just throw the shit around, right? It wasn't a serious thing, right? So here's the conversation, right? Because for some reason, everyone has always tried to they always try to take away from scoring. And I understand that, just like in defense, right? Just because you can score 20 points doesn't necessarily mean you're a great scorer. Yeah, that's what I always thought about. That's why I was so confused by what he was going about, right? And typically, if you love the game, you work on your craft. So it's, very crafty guys, right? Or very smart players. Like, those are hoopers. Like, he made it way more serious than it needed to be. But since he wants to take it there, we could take it there, right? A lot of people want to discredit scorers, right? For whatever reason, it's always been a thing. KD, Norman Powell, Jay Cross, the Ball brothers, etc. Yeah. Everyone always, you just a scorer. When, a lot of these guys that are talking about it, you never got to 28, 29, 30 points per game like these guys. And you want to say you didn't have the opportunity, but I argue there was a reason you didn't get the opportunity. You were good, maybe you just weren't as good as these guys. You didn't earn those 25, 30 shots a game. It sucks, right? But it could also be the truth. You like to tell us we ain't never played in the NBA, and we'll tell you, well, maybe there's a reason you weren't a number one option. Because you just weren't that good. You're a very good basketball player, don't get me wrong, but maybe you just weren't 30 point per game good. It's like I get that there's ranges. Like, for example, we had the Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry conversation, and I think Kyrie Irving is a better isolation scorer than Steph Curry. But for their careers, Curry has averaged more points than him, has scoring champions that, Kyrie has never gotten. But I still have that opinion, right? Because it's not just dependent on the numbers necessarily. I do understand that part. But like I said, for some reason, people have always tried to take away from points. It's like that narrative when they say defense win championship. Hit them with the, "You not Kobe, we don't love you," like that. Like, it is what it is, right? Like, the truth is, right? Like, the thing about Steven Jackson and his counterpart Matt Barnes, right, is I feel like Matt Barnes has always embraced his role player role. And Steven Jackson, from the outside looking in, has always felt like, I'm on y'all level. I'm on your 25 point per game level. Because he was so competitive and he was able to give people trouble. Which, facts. But that don't necessarily mean you on their level. Right? Being able to compete with someone doesn't mean that you're as good as them. Right? I was just watching Vernon Maxwell clips talking about Michael Jordan. He competed with Mike, but he knew who was better. Didn't mean he wasn't going to compete, but it is what it is, right? Like, he understands the game. And, you know, I just always felt like Steven Jackson, and I think he's great. His content is great. I think, you know, he comes from a great perspective. It's just sometimes it comes off a way when he says some of these things, right? Like, he was calling Gilbert Arenas soft. You can call Gilbert Arenas whatever you want. You can call him soft. You can call him a bitch. He ran away from this. He did that. Da 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 da. When y'all stepped on the floor, it was 40. Right? There's some folks that get too into that. Oh, you soft. You da 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 da. No, you have to execute in a basketball game. This is a game. Right? All that being tough, being pussy shit only goes so far. Can you play the game? But yeah, I feel like I just went on a tangent. But yeah, I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. I'm be honest with you. I don't know what he was talking about, bro. Like, he's just talking about some nonsense. Like, no bullshit. Like, how the hell did he... Like, who let him change the definition of what a hooper is? Like, I'm so confused. Like, who let him change the definition? And then I was Rashawn McCann's talking about, oh, a hooper always been somebody that play offense and defense. Motherfucker, since when? And he said, it always been like that for me. No. Yeah, facts. Like it is what it is, right? And you can say what you want. Yeah, like I was talking about before, they could know defense, right? Giving effort and executing defense is also a whole nother thing. Right? And then you take into account the game plan and all of these, like I said, man, the basketball on a surface level is not very complicated, right? But at the highest level, all of these things matter, right? And you have to take everything into account, right? Now, speaking of, where is this at? Speaking of a hooper, bro, speaking of a hooper, we're gonna talk a little bit some WNBA now. Speaking of a fucking hooper, bro.
Overdriving into Smith, leaves a shot short. Defense there by Alyssa Smith. Clark with 9 points, 7 assists here so far. Clark crossing over.
Nah, bro. Yo, she is cold, bro. She is fucking cold. Like, what? Look, after she just did the right to left, right? After she did the right to left as a player, you know, okay, they might think I'm gonna do it again. So what did she do? Pop, hang dribble, straight right, bro.
Hangs and banks it home.
It's this mismatch for us.
Whatever.
Clark
is on the side of 3 triples.
Clark trying to answer. You bet.
What happened?
Oh, no. We need to see the other one. Where's the other one, bro? Where's the other? She hits another one.
Donald, who gives it a swipe.
Oh my God.
Step back.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And where's the rebound? Where's the rebound? Shut a rebound.
Kelsey Mitchell's going. What happened?
They ain't shut a rebound. So let me see what this is. Caitlin Clark recorded her second triple double. When are we gonna give this girl a nickname? Come on, basketball world, we need to get it together. Shit. I don't know, man. I don't know, but she is fucking cold, bro. Like, them 3 she's hitting. Holy shit. Like, First rookie with a triple-double, and now she has 2 in her rookie year. Like, nah, she different for that. She different for that, bro. I think he done downstairs. But yeah, she's obviously just been phenomenal. Like, she's just on a run. Everyone was talking about that time off during the Olympics. The fact that it seems like her and her team really got in the lab and they were in the gym working out. Like, she's not to be fucked with. And you know, I said it from the beginning, she always played with confidence. Like, I was saying it, like she's fucking crazy. She's psycho crazy. The way she be yelling, the way she chirping at people, like her reactions, like she's nuts in a good way. Like she's fucking nuts, but it's great because it drives her confidence and her competitiveness, and clearly she works on her craft, right? A lot of the shots she was getting was going right to left, right? And I spoke about this from day one. The scouting report on her is force her right. Because when she goes to the left, she's very comfortable shooting, moving to her left, whether it's a step back, whether it's just shooting that way. So now she figured out, she's like, all right, I'm going to just keep it real simple. I'm going to just drive hard to your left foot, right? And if your hips switch all the way and you damn near turn your shoulder, I'm going to just pull back. Right? And if they hesitate when she does her hang dribble and they stay and they don't switch their hips, what does she do? She just goes right. She keeps it very simple, but she also obviously pays attention to the scouting report on her. And she's very methodical. Like I said, she opens up Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, who's had a phenomenal year also. She is incredible, dog. Like when you watch her, it just looks different. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like when you watch Asia like score, like that shit looks different too. And I feel the same when you watch Caitlyn score. Like it looks different from everyone else in the field. But I wanted to touch on this part, right? Because winning solves a lot of issues, but I think it also hides a lot of problems, right? And I mentioned this yesterday already, right? So it's not like this is new. But she recorded 7 turnovers again. For the year, she's averaging 5. Or 5.5, I think, right? Yes. And I'm not saying this will prevent her from being great. This could just be one of her imperfections, right? Like, she can't be so good at everything, and you know, she's got to have a weakness, right? And I think the thing that she can control are some of the wild, lazy passes. There was a behind the back pass that she literally fucking threw away. You know, I keep comparing her to Steph because Steph does a lot of the same shit, right? If you've ever seen, Steph will have stretches whether he's not getting calls or he's not getting the ball. He'll get the ball back and the motherfucker will literally throw the ball away, not even look, knowing damn well it's going to get stolen. It's just straight up lazy sometimes. And it's fine, right? Like, it's normal. Warriors ran into a lot of problems this year, but they have always been there. Their team just has bonehead turnovers, just throwing it away, BSing. Yeah, that's facts, right? And let's call it what it is too, right? Winning builds a lot of bad habits. That's something that people want to ignore and people don't want to talk about, then like you said earlier, bad steal attempts. Yeah, and this isn't us hating, right? We're just critiquing the game for what it is, right? When we're assessing players, right? This is what it is. For example, every incoming rookie, right? Why do they struggle when they first come in? Because from when they were a kid up until college, right? Everything that they've done has worked out. They could do it back then because their margin was bigger and they would win, but now they need to execute and have a smaller margin. And now the losing, exposing that. That's facts. That's facts. It's exposing some of those issues that they never fixed. And they also just had really good players, right, that can make up for those problems. But when you look at all of these young players coming in, right, the reason it takes some of them a really long time to transition is because they've built up so many bad habits that have gotten them to where they are in their career. It's gotten them to the NBA. Not realizing some of the bad habits that they have, right? And winning does something similar, right? For example, like I said, they haven't spoken about the turnovers for Caitlin Clark. Like I said, it's obviously not impacting them winning or losing a game, but the number is still glaring. 7 is a lot of turnovers, and to be getting them back to back, it's a lot. Like I said, I was saying something very similar about Jeremy Lin. During Linsanity, he was getting a lot of turnovers that a lot of people ignored. And what happened? When he got into other situations, it was still a problem. Now, do I think that Caitlin Clark will fall in that same boat? No, I think she's different. I really do think that she's a different breed. Her mentality seems to be very different. Like I said, she's a psycho. She's a psycho out there in a good way. She tries shit like the timing of that one shot, right? That first one with like 6 minutes left in the third, right? The pullback shot. The game at that point was very. No one was really getting a rhythm of the game. So it really was the perfect time for her to just throw some shit up. And she hit it and it got her hot, right? But early on in that game, they were turning the ball a lot over. What the fuck did I just say? They were turning the ball a lot. They were turning the ball over a lot. Wow. But yeah, that's just something to look at, right? Because like I said, we critique the game for what it is, and that's all. That's all we can do, right? Now, we're gonna talk about the WNBA, but first, let's take a look at what Charles Barkley had to say about it.
These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried. People believe what we say on television. Just because people don't like you or your personality, they can't get on TV and slander you. It's just total bullshit. This girl is incredible. The number of attention, eyeballs she's brought to college and the pros, and for these women to have this petty jealousness, you say to yourself, damn, what is going on here? And the thing I love about her, she never says a word. But these ladies, who I love and respect their game, they couldn't have this thing up any worse. There's been so much negativity, and a lot of it is just petty jealousness.
And so obviously Barkley had some harsh words to say about the WNBA regarding how they've handled Caitlin Clark. I have mixed emotions about this, right? Because on one hand, I understand where the women in the WNBA are coming from. Or I could see where they're coming from, right? Imagine, you know, you're Chicago versus the Mercury. Excuse me. And you're not even playing the Fever. Maybe the Fever aren't even playing tonight and they're asking you about Caitlin Clark. Or they're asking you about when they're going to play her, what you think about her. You'd be like, get the fuck out of my face with that bullshit. We about to play. And you understand from that aspect, right? Everyone keeps asking them about Caitlin Clark. And as a competitor, even if they respect her and even if they like her game, how many times can you say, oh, I think she's really good? When you got to go and play her. So I can see that part in it, right? But here's another perspective. I remember when I used to work at Fossil on 5th Avenue in New York. And we were getting paid a certain amount. And a batch of new hires came in. And, you know, because we talked to the managers and whatnot, we knew that they were getting paid. I think it was like, I want to say like 40 cents more per hour than us. And we felt the way. We're like, how the fuck? You didn't earn the 40 cents, even if they were really good. But just because of what was happening, the way that the pay was getting bumped up, they were getting paid more. Think about that. We felt a way about 40 cents an hour. Now imagine you have media people and reporters and fans telling you that you need to be grateful for this person because of how much better they're making your sport. They can't deny the fact that, yeah, you can't help but be human and kind of feel a way. And I think that's the part that gets missed, right? It's so they have said things about her, right? And then but there's this denial part. And we just have to call it what it is. And obviously, Caitlin has heard everything because she's taking it and she's fucking hooping. And now we see it, right? We saw there was a game against Skylar Diggins. She was complaining about her. She shoved her. They were just talking about at the Wings game about, they're like, oh shit, all the jerseys are Indiana Fever jerseys. Well, yeah, this is what it's like to have a superstar in your sport. It just is what it is, right? And I get that these women have to adjust to that, and we got to give them some time, right? But that's just the reality. This is how things go. She kind of runs shit now, even if she's not the best player, because popularity is popularity, right? That's separate from being good at your craft. She is extremely popular. Whether you like it or not, she's relatable to a lot of people. That's just what it is. She's marketable, whatever it is, right? I always say there's a star quality about people, and they can't help it. The things that they do just cause a reaction out of people. That to me is what a star person is, and she's that. And it just is what it is. I was gonna let them live, but I was like, that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit on the fence on that. Like I said, I do think also, right, just to close this out, I do think that the media has also overblown this. Right? Think about that, right? Think about that. Think about how diabolical that is. The media are the ones asking these questions. I'll go to college games and but yeah, so think about how diabolical that is, right? The media asks all of these players, all of these women, these questions about Caitlin Clark, whether they're playing them or not. And then the media turns around and says, "Oh my God, look at them hating on Caitlin. Look at them doing da 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 da." They're the ones pushing the whole narrative. Also, they're the ones asking the question. They're in the middle of all of this, trying to bait everyone into some shit. So yeah, that doesn't get spoken about enough as well. Kobe would be the most worn jerseys. Yep. Right? Like, you know, when everybody says aura, right? Like, Caitlin Clark got aura. Like, it is what it is, dog. Like, you could try to fight it. It don't matter. It genuinely does not matter. But hey, man, that is. Hey, we did an hour on just a couple of these topics, man. That's gonna do it for me. As always, man, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank y'all for joining me. I really appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit, because it really helps the channel out. We are trying to take this shit to Jupiter, whether y'all like it or not. We're going to do it. But very quickly, while y'all are here, this Saturday, we're gonna be flying out to go hang out with my girl's mom. It's her birthday, so I will not be on till probably about next Thursday. So tomorrow I'll be on. Saturday, my girl was asking me, she was like, you want to be on Saturday? I was like, I don't know, we're gonna be doing a lot, so we'll see. So I'm gonna do tomorrow's show, and then I'll be out till next Thursday. We'll be back, and like I said, we in this shit now. So the season's gonna start. We gonna be right into it, cracking. But again, thank you guys for watching me. Y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me, and I really appreciate that. Like, I say that all the time, but y'all don't know what that means, because you could literally be anywhere on the internet. Literally, and the internet brings you anywhere. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, Elijah. You're the fucking GOAT, man. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. Thank you, guys. I'll see you guys later. Y'all have a great rest of your day, man. Peace, 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 peace.